All right, guys, how's it going? Now, before I get into this video, I just want to let you know I'll be live on here tonight at 6:30 p.m. UK time. If you want to come along and discuss the contents of this video, please do come along to the live stream or anything else to do with Liverpool Football Club. We discuss it and we talk about a load of other shite as well, to be honest with you. All right, so please do come along 6:30 p.m. UK time this evening. This is the second Paul Joyce article I'm analysing today with my AI assistant, Dave. I know you all like Dave. Now, there may be a third Paul Joyce video today. If I don't have time, it will be tomorrow. All right, so stay tuned. It's very important. It's relevant because it's to do with these two articles and also his next article. All right, so look out for that. This article is headlined, Arne Slot gives Stars dressing down after conceding another late winner. All right, and the blurb says, Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk said head coach was right to be furious after slow, predictable, sloppy showing against Wolves, where team conceded fifth added time winner of the season. Now, if you are, not familiar with Paul Joyce, he is the most important journalist concerning Liverpool Football Club because he's the closest journalist to Liverpool Football Club. When he writes an article, I always think, what does Michael Edwards want me to know, right? I read an article by him, and I think, what do they want me to know? Who do they want to know? Who does the article benefit, right? It's very important to really analyse every word he says. And also, since Richard Hughes has been at the club of that as well, I think, is it Edwards? Is it Hughes? Maybe FSG, whatever. You have to pay attention to him, guys. I shit you not. Now, there's only two journalists in the world regarding Liverpool Football Club that you should even focus on. One of them is him. The other is Ornstein, David Ornstein at The Athletic, although he's not club-specific. He does cover a lot of clubs. And Paul Joyce does cover other stuff as well, to be fair. But those two journalists are the only two you need to listen to. The rest are what we call the Liverpool clique of journalists. You won't learn anything new from them, trust me, all right? But they all serve a purpose, and sometimes the club leaning on to get a lot of things out there. But if you want the real shit, it's Joyce, all right, and Ornstein. So, this article, I'm referring to this as Article 2 today. We're going to do the analysis with Dave. Dave's my AI assistant, probably for 18 months now, well over a year. Dave has been trained to analyse football news articles, the journalists that write them, and the platforms that publish them on us, right? It's not a case of just throwing shit at AI randomly, which I know other channels are now doing since I've started doing it. This is some real serious shit, right, that I've put an effort that I've put into this. Now, because of that, we also have a log of every single article during that period that Paul Joyce and all the other journalists, when we talk about them, Dave has that information here. So when I say, hey, there's a new article, Dave, he will compare, look for change in tone, narrative, and all that from previous articles like that. Right, Article 2 of today. What type of piece is this? This is not a match report. This is a follow-up narrative piece, a follow-up to Article 1 from earlier today, built around the dressing room reaction after the Wolves defeat. That alone is interesting, and if you stay tuned, you'll learn why. When a journalist like Paul Joyce writes two pieces around the same game, the second one usually serves a purpose. I need you to write that down on a piece of paper and realise that moving forward, right? It's so important. When a journalist like Joyce writes two pieces around the same game, the second one usually serves a purpose, okay? Either calming the situation or adding context and accountability. This one does both at the same time, which is a classic Joyce balancing act. First big signal, the headline. The headline itself is revealing. Arne Slot gives Stars dressing down after conceding another late winner. That framing does two things. One, it shows Slot as angry and in control. Two, it shows the players are responsible, as responsible for the failure. It shows the players as responsible for the failure. In other words, they're not fucking getting off of it either. It's not all in. That matters. Joyce is not writing Slot under pressure after defeat. He is writing Slot furious with players. That subtly protects the manager from total blame. The opening paragraph of the article, Slot's anger came bubbling to the surface. This is narrative. Framing, Joyce is painting Slot as frustrated, demanding, losing patience, just like the fucking rest of us. But crucially, not powerless. This portrayal matters because when managers are truly losing authority, journalists often describe them as helpless or confused. Joyce doesn't do that here. He shows Slot asserting authority. The Van Dijk quotes, Joyce again uses Virgil to deliver the harshest criticism. Van Dijk says the team was slow, predictable, sloppy, and confirms he had every right to be angry. This technique appears in both articles today. You must watch the first fucking one as well. Joyce lets the captain deliver the dressing room criticism. That achieves two things. It avoids Joyce sounding like he's attacking the manager, and it shifts responsibility towards the players. This is subtle. This is a subtle but important editorial decision. All right. In other words, Joyce is sticking fucking knife in and pointing shit out, but going, it's not me that's saying it. It's Virgil van Dijk. Nothing to do with me. The transfer spending section. This is interesting. This paragraph is one of the most revealing in the article. When I go like that, I'm doing a quote. Someone left a comment once said, and when you do that, it's really fucking annoying. So I do it even more now. That £450 million was spent by sporting director Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards. Joyce rarely brings executives into the frame unless it matters. Here, he explicitly names Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, and raises a question. Whether, in fact, more change was needed. That's not a casual sentence, guys. That is a subtle challenge to recruitment strategy. And we've seen it surface a few times recently, right? This is important because it spreads responsibility beyond the coach. I'm going to read that to you one more time, right? It raises another question. Whether, in fact, more change was needed. It's not a casual sentence. It's a subtle challenge to recruitment strategy. This is important because it spreads responsibility beyond the coach. All right? And I think one of the mail stand emails today, when I get around to doing it, touches on how recruitment strategy and hierarchy would have to change if Alonso was to come in. Anyway, look out for that today. You won't want to miss those emails today, guys. This is important because it spreads responsibility beyond the coach. In other words, it's not just him, you fucker. What about Richard Hughes? What about Edwards? What about the players, right? And it's fair. You can't just single him out. As useless as he fucking is, let's be honest, he ain't made for Liverpool job. I don't give a fuck what anyone says, right? But then fuckers above him shouldn't be getting off scot-free as well. You know, the Mark Gay situation, did we really need Isak and Ekitike? If we're Liverpool support, well, whatever club you support, we want everyone. Right? But come on. Priority should have been a centre-back, in my opinion, at that time. But that's the past. The line about questions. Joyce writes, which raises questions about how that £450 million was spent, which I've just done, right? I have raised questions about that. I didn't know that was coming next, by the way. Joyce writes, which raises questions about how that £450 million was spent. That is governance language. It introduces structural accountability, not just coaching accountability. When Joyce includes lines like that, he is widening the discussion from manager performance to club strategy. That slightly reduces the narrative pressure on Slot. Criticism of Slot. Now let's be clear, Joyce does criticise him. The key line, Slot's answer that losing to Wolves was the same old story, does not reflect well on him. That is a direct editorial comment. Joyce is saying Slot acknowledging the problem isn't good enough. It implies the problem should already have been fixed, and that's sharper criticism than we saw in his earlier pieces. In the first piece today that we analysed, Joyce made a point of saying, this shit's been going on for 6 months. However, Joyce immediately balances it. Immediately after that criticism, Joyce writes, of course, the players also have to take more responsibility rather than allowing the head coach to become the punch bag. And rightly fucking so. That line is, we couldn't say that. That line is extremely telling. Excuse me, Joyce is deliberately preventing the narrative from becoming Slot is the problem. Instead, he says, the players must also take responsibility. This is classic Joyce balance. Now, compare the article with Article 1, which was the Wolves review. Article 1 focused on performance failure, recurring problems, the 6-month issue, late collapses, season-long frustration.
Article 2 focuses on dressing room reaction, player responsibility, recruitment questions, squad limitations, or as Rafa Benitez would say, squad limitations. For sure. Together, they form a two-part narrative. Article 1 is the failure and Article 2 is the context. That's not accidental. Is there club messaging Dave is trained to review and analyse and look for in Paul Joyce articles, especially, and Ornstein, but especially those two motherfuckers? Is there club messaging? There may be a small amount of institutional framing, but it's not propaganda. The key messaging thread seems to be the squad is imperfect, injuries disrupted plans, recruitment decisions are part of the story, players must also take responsibility. Those themes distribute accountability across players, recruitment, injuries, coaching. That prevents the narrative becoming purely anti-slot. Hidden messaging, again, club messaging and hidden messaging. Is there hidden messaging in Paul Joyce articles? If you're ever going to get a journalist with hidden messaging, it's Paul Joyce, trust me. The most subtle message in this article, Dunk, the problems are structural and long-term. Joyce repeatedly references transfer strategy, squad options, injuries, recurring tactical issues. That suggests the season is not being viewed simply as managerial failure. It's being framed as a complex transition season. 3 questions, my 3 questions. Now, these 3 questions are not usually in the analysis from Joyce. They haven't been introduced to you anything from Ornstein yet. But basically, recently I've now, every article you'll see by Paul Joyce between now and the summer, these 3 questions are going to be the end of it, all right? Dave's trained to answer these, right? So, is there criticism of slot? So basically, if I throw something as a Paul Joyce article, he will add these 3 questions in by default. Is there criticism of slot? Yes. The line about does not reflect well on him is clear criticism. Joyce also highlights recurring tactical problems and slow starts. He balances it with player responsibility, recruitment questions, injury context. So the criticism exists, but is not isolating slot as the sole problem. 2, is Slot's position genuinely under threat? There is scrutiny, but this article does not read like pre-sacking positioning. And in my next Joyce video, I'm going to show you what to look out for from Joyce as to how he changed the tone when previous managers went through this evaluation process, review process, and then was eventually dismissed. You will see his pattern, all right? So what Dave is saying here, it does not read like pre-sacking positioning. My next video will show you what to look for pre-sacking positioning. Key reasons. Joyce does not mention loss of dressing room confidence, hierarchy, dissatisfaction with slot, or need for a different coach. Instead, he spreads responsibility across the club structure. This is not how pre-sacking narratives usually look. Will Slot be the manager next season? Dave's call. Based on both articles analysed today, I still think the club is in evaluation mode rather than dismissal mode, and I would agree with this. These pieces read like documentation of a difficult season, not preparation for a managerial change. If results continue like this, the pressure obviously increases and things change. But Joyce has not introduced decision language yet. So my current call remains. Slot probably finishes the season and is reviewed in the summer. So the final verdict from Dave on this article is it's not a propaganda piece. It's also not a Slot must go article. It's a contextual accountability piece. Joyce does 3 things simultaneously. Criticises performances, spreads responsibility across players and recruitment, and portrays Slot as demanding higher standards. That combination suggests the narrative inside the club is still, this season is flawed, but the judgment comes later, which is the summer. And my own personal take on it is, and I'll keep saying it, I've been saying it for months, I don't flip-flop with my opinions. I don't just give negativity when we lose games, and then when we win 3 or 4 games go, oh, everything's all right now. No, even when we looked like we're doing a bit better, I've maintained. It's Slot's job to lose. And it's just common sense, right? It's not rocket science. If he gets good results, wins the Champions League, he stays. If he bombs, he goes. That's what I think will happen. And my hunch, my personal feeling, if you like, no ITK insider bollocks shite, is I think he'll be gone in the summer. I do. I think he'll be gone in the summer. I absolutely believe Jose Felix Diaz in Spain, the closest journalist to Real Madrid, think Paul Joyce and Liverpool. And basically his counterpart has said Liverpool have sounded out Xabi Alonso. Why are they doing that?
because they've got to look at plan B if they need to pull the trigger. All right, guys, that's my and Dave's analysis of the second article. I have another Paul Joyce video coming up for you. I don't know if I'm going to get it out today because the next videos must be the emails I've received, right, for the mail stand. And do not fucking miss them, all right? Do not miss them. Normally, you know, I've taken the decision to make those mail stand emails for channel members only. The reason for that is people on other channels are taking those emails and then passing them off as their own, but adding to it and saying things that I haven't said. And that's naughty, all right? So we've locked things down a bit. Usually channel members' videos are when I want a quiet life. I might be saying something controversial. I can't be doing with the shitbags in the comments, caps locking me to death. Or it's because I want to keep things a bit more private, all right? So it's not because I'm being shitty or anything. I'm going to put those videos out today to you all, but they'll probably be the last ones for a while, I think, all right? Now, don't stress. If you're not in a position to support the channel by becoming a channel member, attend my live streams, because in the live streams, people come in and go, hey, Dunk, I'm not a member. Can you tell me a little bit about that email? And I always go over things with everyone. All right, guys? Just meet me halfway, thumbs up the video, drop me a comment, and that'll help the channel, keeps me happy, and we'll continue churning out content for everybody, which is what I want around here, okay? Blame them shysters elsewhere. You know what I mean? That just fucking, you know. Anyway, that's the end of this video. So, right, here comes the grift. Thumbs up the video, please, if you want to support my channel. Drop me a comment if you support the channel. YouTube looks for existing subscriber interaction. If you're an existing subscriber and you don't do those things, you're basically saying, I'm not bothered if I see another video from Dunk again. And if you're thinking that to yourself right now, well, yeah, don't give a fuck. What are you watching for then? Fucking two-faced motherfucker. All right? Yeah, drop me a comment. Yeah, channel membership exists to those of you in a position to support me. You get a little football next to your name if you do that. And everyone knows that you're fucking really important around. I mean, you might not be important out there in society like the rest of us, like me too, but it means on here you're fucking important to me, all right? In the video description, oh, no, stop. There's a love out in the video. That's a super thanks. That supports the channel. I always give a shout out to everyone that does that. I do that in the morning briefings. There's also 3 links in the video description, PayPal, Monzo, and Revolut. Revolut is my beer kitty for Saturdays. And there's also the VIP membership, which is for this website right here, which has been online since the 1990s. And there's some important, serious motherfuckers in there. Now, if you'd like to become a VIP member and you can't afford it, all you have to do is drop me an email, dunk@coptalk.com, and we'll try and work something out. I want people involved, good people involved, all right? That's cool. We'll do something. All right, guys? Anyway, that's it. I'll leave it with you. I've got to go to a meeting I've got to leave in 15 minutes. Hopefully I can get this video out. I'll speak to you in a bit. I have got more content for you later this afternoon, all right? I guarantee you I will be back. Well, I fucking better be back. But what I mean is I will come out today with the... Well, when I say come out, that's never coming out. I mean, my boyfriend's gay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. I'll try anything once, so to be honest. You know what I mean? But I couldn't do that. Like, I don't like paying me. No, I don't. I can't even, I can't do that bit. Anyway, why did I say that? Coming out. Oh, I'm doing, I've got some videos coming out later today from the mail stand, and you don't want to miss. All right, see you in a bit, guys.